All right, so let's this will be part two. We'll just take this further. We're talking about Gnostics and voting and a lot of this, participating in the system versus not. What's the difference? What does it look like, right? So let's look at like Lord of the Rings. If let's just look at like the movie, right? The movie series. So let's look at it. Okay, it starts off. What does it start off with? The hobbits in society, right? The hobbits in their little hobbit society, right? And they're just in society and everything is gay and society and yay and fireworks, and drinking and dancing and feasting and fireworks and society. This society, everything is society. Remember, the Gnostics rejected all of that. Reject society. Not just one aspect of it, but like the whole fucking thing is like gay, right? So how does Lord of the Rings start off? Society. Everything is society. Look at all the little hobbits enjoying their little society with fireworks and dancing and feasting and drinking and singing and whatever. It's all society and gardening and families and right, families, little hobbit families, and it's right. That's how it starts, right? It's societies. And none of these little hobbits, all they've ever known is society, the Hobbit Society. That's all they know. That's it. They don't know nothing. They don't care. That's fine. That it is what it is. That's just it. That's what's happening. And so then, whatever the thing is, there's the crisis event or whatever it is that drives Frodo. Is it Frodo? I think it's Frodo. Frodo and the little fat hobbit and stuff or whatever. Out. Out. Away from all the fireworks and children and families and society and singing and dancing and everything is society. No, they left. For whatever reason, whatever it was, whatever drove them, it was like they were forced out. And so and then they run into then they run into what the fucking, I don't know, what's the warrior archetype, you know and what is he? It's the same, pretty much the same. It's all society. He has his wife, the elf wife, and they're in love, and it's a ring, and there's going to be marriages and the elf societies and all these societies. Everything is societies and family and marriage and candlestick making and baking and I mean when the character of the warrior archetype gets fleshed out, he's all hitched up with the elf society and the elf is his wife, and it's all the same gay society shit. It's just gay society shit, and they're all participants of some kind of society involving family and marriage and romance and dancing and it's all the same. It's all the same shit. It's just society. The whole movie is like all this societies, and it goes on, right? And but still, like so the hobbits go from their society to the elf society, and they have to meet all the elves in the elf society, and the warrior is marrying the elf, and their romance, and then they go from there. Well, we have to continue our journey, so they leave that society. Then there's the other society. Which one? Where Wormtongue, remember Wormtongue had the king possessed. That's another society with more family and society and everything else. And the whole time it's like Sauron is building the army of trolls, and you know, and they're then they attack that one society where the guy was possessed by worm tongue, and it was all through Sauron, and then Sauron's society of all the trolls. Everything is societies and families, and the building of temples and towers and buildings and communities of societies. Everything is societies and shit, right? Kingdoms with kings and queens and princes and princesses, and you know, it's all just society, princes and princesses, and hobbit villages and kings and kingdoms with kings with crowns, and that's all it is. It's all these societies and everything. And you know, and but then they run into, you know, the Ents. I love the Ents because when you look at the Ents all left society. They were the only ones that they rejected society. And if you pay attention to the story of the Ents, the backstory, that's they said fuck society. All these people, they're all constantly gnawing and biting and sawing and clawing, and Treebeard and the Ents abandoned society. They left society to go live in the woods with no kingdoms or crowns and princes and princesses, and they left all of that. No fireworks and dancing and gardening, and they left all of that. They're like, this is all gay. They and you can see when they portray Treebeard of the Ents, he's super fucking pissed when the hobbits find him. He's like, who the fuck are you? A bunch of fucking trolls. Because that's all society is it's just trolls, dude. It just always gets taken over and infested with a bunch of fucking trolls. That's all it is. And so when Treebeard saw the Ents, he's like, oh, look, what do we have here? More fucking trolls. We spend our whole lives getting away from you fucking cunts. You know? He was like totally fucking pissed. And then they're like, oh no, we're not trolls, we're hobbits. And he's like, yeah, I've heard that one before. Where have I heard that story before? You know? You know? And then Treebeard just describes like, yeah, you know, all you fucking cunts, like, all you do is burn and bite and saw and gnaw, and everything is just fighting and fucking, you're all a bunch of cunts. Society is gay. And what are you doing in my woods, you fucking pieces of shit? You know, that's all Treebeard, that was the encounter with Treebeard. See, the Ents and the fucking, what do you call them? I can't remember the name. But yeah, the Ents, they're the Gnostics in the fucking whole story of Lord of the Rings. Treebeard and the Ents are the Gnostics. They're the ones that rejected society. And they rejected society so much that their existence became a myth. Like, nobody even knew if Ents were actual real creatures or not. That's why when the Hobbits saw them, they're like, dude, it's an Ent. They're real. Ents are real. You know, they didn't even know Ents were real. That's how much the Ents ghosted from all of society. They just disappeared. And then, like I said, fucking Treebeard explains it in that scene where he's like, fuck you. You people are a bunch of fucking trolls. All you do is saw and gnaw and bite and burn, and that's all you do, and that's all you care about. You're just a bunch of selfish, self-absorbed, self-centered piece of shit fucking cunts, and what are you doing in my woods? You know, that was all. They are the fucking quintessential fucking Gnostics, the tree people, the Ents. And there is no other characters like that in in Lord of the Rings. All the rest of them come from societies with families and bread bakers and dancing and princes and princesses and marriages and all this. It's all fucking bullshit, dude. All of it. Which is my point. You can't just reject, you can't cherry pick what, you can't just cherry pick what you want to participate in regarding society and what you don't, and then claim to be that you are a non-participant. You know, like the idea that voting versus non-voting is like that's the how you discern. No, look around you, dude. All these. Look at fucking Richie from Boston is a fucking self-proclaimed non-voter, dude. Like I'm saying in the last video, how impressed do you think that I am with someone who claims to not vote? Like, that's a total nothing burger. It means absolutely nothing to me. Maybe it means something to you, but I don't get it. I just don't get it at all. Like, it doesn't mean anything. It doesn't matter that it means something to somebody because it doesn't mean anything. If you participate in money, you're just as guilty as a person who participates in voting. So it's just the pot calling the kettle black. It's just more of biting and burning and sawing and gnawing. It's just gotta always constantly be gnawing at something and biting at something and clawing at something and burning something, and it's all just like negative. Everything is just negative. Oh, the voters, let's gnaw on the voters and bite the voters and gnaw them and burn them and saw them and claw them. And that's why Treebeard saying that. He's like, dude, all of you people, you're all just a bunch of cunts that just constantly non-stop gnawing and biting and burning and sawing. That's all you do. That's all you are. That's all the whole of society is. It's all just fuck everybody else, my, me, my, at whatever the cost. It doesn't matter what the cost is as long as I'm getting mine and fuck everyone else. That's society. And that is the society that Treebeard and the Ents rejected. You can watch the scene and Treebeard will explain it all in that scene. In the very first scene and again, all the other characters, the hobbits, the warrior or whatever, the elves, the fucking dwarves, they're all a bunch of societies with kingdoms and crowns and princes and princesses and dancing and fireworks and dancing and drinking and feasting, and it's so dumb, dude. That's what that whole thing that I read is all about. How stupid all of it is. Not just the voting or any other just one. It's like the entire thing, because the entire thing is all about gnawing and biting and sawing and burning. It's all about my, me, my. More when I can't get enough booze and pussy and fucking and money and that's all of it's about. And that's what all the gnawing and biting and sawing and burning, it's all about. What more? I need more for me, more money, more cars, more houses, more women, more whatever, you name it, more of any and everything for me, and fuck everyone else. And that's what all societies are. It's all the same. And no other character, no other archetype in Lord of the Rings rejected society except for the fucking Treebeard and the Ents. No other one. Treebeard is the quintessential main archetype of the entire story of Lord of the Rings. It is the mustard seed that was planted in the fucking book. And nobody cares for the woods anymore. Nobody cares for the woods. Nobody cares for the Ents and the Treebeard. No, it's the Hobbit is the star, or it's the warrior archetype is the star. Dude, if it weren't for the Ents, they would have never overcome Saruman. And if they wouldn't have overcome Saruman, they would have lost the war. And the only other archetype that comes close to the Ents is the Oathbreakers. I've talked about this in many videos before. So again, let's rewind to the beginning. So you got the Hobbit, right? At the beginning of Lord of the Rings. The Hobbits in their society with all their little princesses and princes and families. And they're all, feasting together and dancing and drinking and fireworks. And it's all gay and everything is like a big, right? Society. It's all society. Meanwhile, the Ents are out living in the woods, living in the rough, way the fuck out away from everything. While all the little hobbit societies are dancing in gay apparel, and they're all cheering, and everything is just a gay fucking feast of families and society, and everything is. And the whole time, the Ents are out there all by themselves, all alone, fucking like out in the cold woods and out in the rain and snow and shit, right? It's fucking awesome, dude. The real quintessential meaning of Lord of the Rings is awesome. And it's not about Frodo. And it's not about, the marriage of the elf prince and the elf princess and the warrior. All of that is the gay shit. All of that's gay. The only thing that was cool was Treebeard. That was it. It was like, fuck you, what the fuck is this? And then it's funny because then the hobbits told him about the war, and then the hobbits wanted the trees to join their side, and then Treebeard just said the most profound truth that is within the entire story of Lord of the Rings. I'm not on anyone's side because nobody's on my side. Sorry. Bye-bye, little hobbits. Go have fun on your little journey fighting the Jays or whoever it is. Like, who the fuck are you? You're part of all these societies that don't care about anybody but yourself. All you do, you're just so fucking self-absorbed and self-centered. Why would I join in to fight for you? We left because of you. We left all of you, the whole of Middle Earth. We are the only ones that rejected it all and left. And now here you are asking us to help you fight? How about go fuck yourself? And the only reason that the Ents did end up fighting is because Sauron started attacking the Ents. Sauron started attacking and killing the Gnostic Ents. And then they were like, what the fuck? Then they stood up and they said, fuck this, and then they fucking took him out. Just like fucking all the Gnostic Ents just stood up because they saw Saruman killing them. They're like, fuck you, and they just took the whole fucking thing down in one fell swoop. And if it weren't for the Gnostic Ents, Saruman would have never been defeated, and the war would have been lost. Because without defeating Saruman, that's it, it's over. So the Ents were the ones, okay? And then the irony continues. The irony continues after the Ent incident, the Gnostic Ent incident. The irony continues. So then they're in the final battle, the final battle to end the entire thing. And then they had to go to these other people, this other group of people that were they were just like the Gnostic Ents. They were another form of Gnostics that were total anti-society. They hated society, and they were way deep in a mountain, far away from all societies, and had been far away from all societies for many, many decades, and century or whatever, many years. And they were called the Oathbreakers. And the fucking society king, the society guy, the warrior archetype who's all about, elven societies and marrying the princess elf and shit. he had to humble himself and realize that the only way they're going to win the fucking war is if they all humble themselves and go ask the oath breakers to help him. And the oath breakers had a similar view as the Ents. The oath breakers were like, fuck you. You're the people that fucking locked us up in this mountain. How about we're going to kill you? We're just going to kill you right now because you're the fucking pieces of shit that locked us away in this mountain, called us oath breakers. And, you know, the point being is that, and so you have the hobbits, which how many were there? How many hobbits were there? 4 out of that whole society of hobbits. The warrior archetype, who is like the son of the king in futures past or whatever. So he's like the prince. The warrior archetype was the prince. So these are all people that are all big players in society, right? This is but then so and then the elves, you had the elves, but all you really the main character was that one elf who left the elven society to go on the journey. That one king, that one prince who left his family. The 4 hobbits out of that whole society of hobbits, and they didn't know anything about the Ents, and they didn't know anything about the Oathbreakers. And then the Oathbreakers, the same thing. The Oathbreakers reluctantly agreed. They're like, okay, if you fucking do something for us, we'll win the fucking war for you. And then the fucking king had to humble himself and say, okay, we'll do that for you if you help us. And so they released the Oathbreakers, and the Oathbreakers just annihilated the whole fucking thing. Like, nobody else even had to do anything. The Oathbreakers just went through and just destroyed the enemy, again, with a fail swoop, just like the Ents. Just like nothing. They just fucking ravaged through the whole thing. Whereas all these society people, they're all just struggling. And they, you know, it's just like, anyway. You know, if we as participants in this system, because you're a participant in this system, I know it's a hard pill to swallow, but that's the truth. You go to a job and make money, you're a participant in the beast system, dude. That's all there is to it. There is nothing more to say. You go to a job and pull levers and push buttons, you are participating in the system. You're a lever pulling, button pushing participant. End of story. You can point fingers at how, well, that guy over there voted. So what? Who cares? He's a participant. You're a participant. You know, pot calling kettle black. Who fucking cares? It's all the same, dude. And the thing is, all of us as participants, there's all these people that we never see. Like the Ents. Like the hobbits and all of these societies in Middle Earth never even knew that the Ents existed until they accidentally came upon them during this crisis. Middle Earth crisis is how they came upon the Ents. Before that, they never even knew the Ents existed. There's people like that out in the world. You know, like, I mean, go talk to some fucking homeless people or something. Do you know any more about homeless people than the hobbits and the elves and everybody else knew about the Ents? No. You don't know anything about these fucking hundreds of thousands of homeless people that are living out in a fucking, like, out in the dirt and shit. That are not, you don't know anything about them any more than the hobbits and the elves and the dwarves and shit knew about the Ents. There's a whole other fucking world going on out there outside of this system that you don't know anything about, these homeless people. And there's like masses of them. You don't know anything about them. Just like they didn't know anything about the Ents. And the same with the Oathbreakers. There's a whole hordes of people that are way less participating in the system than you. And you don't even acknowledge their existence ever. You don't even acknowledge their existence while you point fingers at those voters over there. I didn't vote and they did. They're the ones. You know, This is what society is all about, is pointing fingers and gnawing and biting and burning and sawing. It's all those people. That's all society is. Look around? What do you see? People breaking off into warring factions, each group saying to the other, "We're right and you're wrong." More of the same, all biting and gnawing and sawing and burning. We're right and you're wrong. Break off into warring factions, and each group, it's all the same. Each group saying to the other, "We're right and you're wrong." What is it doing except for causing more problems? That's what the system is designed to do. For you to break off into your little warring factions with the other, me and all my non-voter friends are all gonna start pointing fingers at all those votes. That's what the whole system is, and you're a participant of it, just like I am. We're all participants of it. You want to try to figure out, you want to look for people that aren't participants? The only thing I can suggest, based off my limited experience, go to a homeless camp and talk to people that have been homeless for 10, 15 years or something. Dude, and then talk to me about who's participating in the system and who isn't, dude. I mean, it's just crazy. Like I said, using Ents as an analogy, none of the hobbits and the elves and none of those people even knew the Ents existed. And then when they found out, it's all of a sudden it's like, "Hey, do you guys want to help us?" And they're like, "Fuck you. What, you want me to join you? I'm not on your side. Why the fuck would I join your side? Have you ever been on my side ever once in your entire life? You know, the reason we live out here homeless is because of people like you. Go fuck yourself." So I just think after a while, dude, it's just kind of like, again, look around you. What do you see? All these groups of people breaking off into warring factions. And after a while, I just get so tired of all these different options of factions I can join. Oh, I can join the non-voters, and then I can point fingers at the voters. Oh, I can join up with the whatever, Black Lives Matter or the liberals, or I can join the white nationalists. It's all the dumb. It's just gay, dude. It's all fucking gay. That's all it is. If you want to be a non-participant of the system, look to the Ents, Treebeard and the Ents. That's what they did. And it's not just like a kickback, like glorious, everything is awesome. That means you're living out in the sticks, like hundreds of miles away from civilization, and eating dirt and shit, dude. Look to the Ents. Or like or even just go travel out so far. If you don't want to go, just look at all these homeless people. Look at how they live. There are fucking mobs of homeless people that have been living like that for like 10 years, where they literally homeless. They look like fucking cavemen. They eat their food, they're getting out of the dumpster and the food bank where all the GMO foods are and shit. Like the hobbits. The hobbits were very sheltered, weren't they, when they're portrayed? Look at how sheltered they are. They don't even know anything. All they know is their hobbit society. They don't know anything else. Like, travel outside. Go outside your safety net. Go outside of what you understand as reality. And one quick way to do it, go into a fucking homeless camp where a bunch of homeless people are living. And see how they live. It's not even the same reality, dude. Like you don't even have any idea what a completely separate and different reality it is. Just like the hobbits didn't understand any reality outside of their little hobbit world. Everything is a hobbit world. Ha ha! Step outside of that and look around. There are oath breakers and Ents and trolls and dude, there is so much more, Anyway, it's just the voter versus non-voter thing. I mean, it's just like a case in point of just everything else. It's all just for more gnawing and biting and sawing and burning. You know, it's just an excuse to break off into warring factions and start warring and bickering with somebody about what? Voting versus not voting? That's ridiculous. Yeah. But anyways, I'm not opposed to the non-voter. I'm not opposed to the voter. I don't see how that is relevant in the big picture at all. Like, it's ridiculous. What do you want to do? Start rounding up all the voters and sequester them into fucking FEMA camps and like what do you, I don't get it. No more than I would get it if it was the reversal, where it's like all those non-voters. It's like, what are you even talking about? Who fucking cares that they don't vote? So what? Don't we have bigger problems than that? I mean, apparently, I don't know. So whatever. Anyways, these are just my thoughts, and I just got to get them out because honestly, bro, I have been venting frustration on this channel of how sick I am of hearing the whole voter versus non-voter thing. It is so completely irrelevant when you look at the big picture. It means absolutely like next to nothing. It's so minuscule. It's like, who cares? It's like, oh my God, there's a gnat in the room. Oh my God. You know, it's like, what's the analogy of that? Making a mountain out of a molehill or something. It's like, oh my God. When it's like, what are you talking? There's way bigger shit going on than voting versus not voting. I don't fucking care. I really don't care either way. And I'm just kind of getting really sick of like hearing how it's some big deal. This whole voter versus non-voter thing is some big, huge deal. I totally disagree. The only thing there is you're either a participant of the system or you're not. That's all there is. Not voting does not absolve, a person is not absolved. A system participant is not absolved from their participation just because they don't vote. That means like nothing. It doesn't mean anything at all. It really doesn't. Anyways. And like that point I was making where I said, okay, all these people that are orchestrating all this insanity, do you think that they vote? You know that they don't vote. So they're non-voters. So you're protecting them by saying that all these voters are stupid. You're like, you can't just like judge a person because they voted or didn't based off of whether they voted or didn't. That's ridiculous. I don't even do that with politics at all. Like, just because someone votes liberal, it doesn't mean nothing to me. You know, I don't care. Even if they voted Joe Biden, it's like, I might look at him a little funny, like, I don't really, but then again, I don't understand, you know. Just like the hobbits didn't understand the Ents, you know. That's because they, you know, and this just like how people don't understand homeless people. Well, maybe try going out there and engaging with them. That was my job for 10 years. And I'm telling you, you want to talk about inverted reality? Look at the homeless and then look at society and contemplate the idea of inversions of reality. Society claims to be, oh, they're all productive and everybody's productive and they're doing all this productive stuff, and those homeless people are all just lazy, mentally ill, drug addicted, criminal, vagrant, degenerates who failed in life, right? Okay, that's what it is, right? Well, that's what we're told reality is. Well, now go and spend time hanging out with and observing homelessness, and then compare the two, and then talk to me about inversions of reality. Because yeah, it is an inversion of reality. Those homeless people, when you actually look at it, all these people participating in society that are the candlestick makers and the bread bakers and the dutiful husbands and the faithful wives, they're all the fucking retards. And the homeless people actually have real meaning in their life by comparison. They are actually living real. They're experiencing more reality than people in society who push levers and pull buttons and do what they're told. And it is a literal inversion of reality. If you want to go into the conspiracy theory realm of reality inversions, again, I did street outreach 8 hours a day, 5 days a week for 10 years. That's what I did, is engage all these homeless people everywhere. And then once the 8 hours was up, I went back into society and I looked at society. And after a while, I started reflecting on everything I'm seeing, and I came to a very shocking revelation that it's an inversion. All these people in society, they're all just robots that do what they're told and push the levers and pull the buttons, and it's so meaningful, and they're so productive, and they're such stand-up people, and the president is saying how we need to do more for these working and middle class because they're such good lever pullers and button pushers and stuff. Dude, you have no idea. Imagine spending 10 years observing homelessness and then going back and observing society with all the lever puller and button pushing, and the president is talking about what a great job all these lever pullers and button pushers are doing and how we need to do all more of this stuff for all these great, wonderful people. Inversion, you want to talk about inversion of reality, bro? It would blow your mind. It would blow your mind. But just like the hobbits don't know anything outside of their little hobbit things. Everything is hobbits. They never even stepped foot outside of their little hobbit society. They have no fucking idea. And that's what's cool about this story too, is that hobbit finally goes out, those 4 hobbits, and they're just, minds are blown. They're like, oh my God, dude. They're like, what is that fucking thing? That's what happens, dude. I'm telling you, go hang out with the homeless for 10 years, where you're just hanging out and observing homeless people. Dude, it will blow your mind, bro. It will blow your fucking mind. And then come back into society and look at all these robots walking around, going to pull that lever, push that button. Everything is a big robot automaton hobbit land. Everything is just hobbit time. Ooh, I'm a hobbit robot. Ooh, I pulled the lever. Ooh, the president tells me what a good job I'm doing. Ooh. Dude, I'm telling you. Anyways, I'm done. Fuck it. Whatever, dude. Who cares?